Radiating from the Lone Star State and stretching from coast to coast and border to border, this is On Radio, the weekly download from your family of companies: CMS Wireless, Enertech, ET Tower, Legacy, and Mountain Wireless. Welcome to On Radio.
Hello, wireless family. We are really super excited because, hey, the clock is ticking. And the clock ticking means that we're going to transition. It always like clock in, clock out. You know, if you put something off, you got to put something on. Well, the clock that we're talking about is the midnight ball heading up to New Year's at that magical moment. When last year is last year, and we have the present, but we're all looking forward with optimism. And joining me today are Cole and Nolan, and we're going to talk about some of the things that are meaningful to us around New Year's Eve. Hey, gents, how you doing?
Pretty good. Not too bad.
And Nolan,
good, Jim, how are you?
I'm awesome. So as you look back on 2022, what memory do you have that like is significant? Cole, you go first.
Well, I guess professionally, our entire year we've been doing this Verizon C-band program, and it started with a lot of questions, a lot of things that needed to be figured out and learned. And I can say that from the months leading up to that deployment till the very last days of 2022, we're learning every day.
Yeah.
Something new is coming out every single day.
Right.
We try to stay ahead of it on the management level, right? But then the guys in the field have done nothing but good things to be able to handle those problems and tackle them as they come. So I mean, from stark difference from the beginning of 2022 to the end of 2022, and I'm excited for what 2023 brings.
When you're rolling out something new, sometimes it's tab A and slot A, and they're like, wait a minute, where's slot B?
Yeah, there were a lot of questions. Luckily, we have good relationships in the industry and our market, and so anytime that there were questions or answers to be had, we simple phone call away. So made things very easy for us.
For sure. Hey, Nolan, how about you? Any thoughts on 2022?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we absolutely crushed it this year out here in Ritzville. T-Mobile was really, really heavy. We crushed a lot of anchors and sprint retains. We also started getting into the C-band projects. It's down to the wire, obviously, right now in the year. And we're out there plugging away today, trying to get the last call items in and making everybody happy. And I think this year we've all done collectively really, really well. And, looking forward to 2023 and seeing what that brings.
Yeah. So I have been talking to people kind of excitedly. I mean, there's two things that come into play. What do you do on New Year's Eve and what do you eat on New Year's Eve, which are all pretty, cool things. What do you guys, any activities that you like, Nolan, on New Year's Eve?
Absolutely, Jim. Well, hopefully I can stay awake long enough to watch the ball drop.
Hey, there you go.
I intend to do that. And I'm going to be making mashed potatoes and gravy. It's one of my favorites, and I do it well.
Nice. Cole, how about you?
I'm a big skier. So I might spend New Year's Eve up in Copper Mountain, where I spent a lot of time growing up. We'll see though. I mean, plans change drastically. We've got a bunch of people asking if we can join them for their New Year's Eve parties or whatnot. But I'm like Nolan said, if I can make it to see the ball drop, that's a feat, So
yeah, across the country. Here's what I've heard. I've heard that we're going to go golfing, we're going to go skiing, we're going to shoot trap, we're going to fly an airplane, we're going to go sledding, we're going to watch football, we're going to play board games, and at midnight we're going to shoot guns up in the air. This is just a whole day of celebration, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And it feels like it doesn't just restrict itself to like the last 6 hours of the year. People try to roll it into like a whole weekend type deal. So you might be able to combine a lot of those things, whether it is trap or whether it is skiing or whether it is firing guns off into the air, right? But there's a lot of time to be able to do what you want to do for sure. Yeah,
for sure. And the other thing that people talk about is food. And I got to tell you, this is as we look forward to New Year's Eve. I got people saying, "Oh man, I make the best lasagna in the world, and I make the best prime rib. And down in the southeast, they're like going, "Well, man, at New Year's Eve, you got to come over. We're having us a shrimp boil." And there's just all kinds of different traditions that take place. What happens at your guys' place on New Year's Eve for food?
Well, traditionally for me, my family usually just does a turkey. This year we were going to plan on doing a smoked turkey on the Traeger, and
Uh,
then I got the idea from our owner, our boss Ryan Hansen. He gave me the recipe for a smoked tri-tip that he
oh
swears
wow.
by. So we might give that a shot. There's no set plans yet since it's very fluid, but um, I don't know. We might lean towards that tri-tip. It sounds like a really good recipe. I think
Right
everyone would
on.
enjoy it. So.
And Nolan, what do you have with that mashed potatoes and gravy?
Well, I'm
Any
huge on comfort food, so we're a macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes and gravy, stuffing kind of household here in Ritzville, and
right
that's
on.
just gonna fill up on all the carbs.
All right. So as we look forward, by nature, everybody at Ontivity is pretty optimistic. I've seen all over the country. I've seen just a bunch of happy people looking out for each other, watching their six, and getting the job done. And it creates in me a sense of optimism that as we march forward into 2023. After the football games are over, after we're done skiing, after we're done shooting trap or sledding or whatever we're going to do for New Year's Eve, we got to march into next year. And when we do that, we're doing so with optimism. Our team is as strong as it's ever been. How do you guys look forward? How do you like set your mind? Because on the second, we all going back to work. We're gonna do what it takes to support our families and take care of the people that we work with and do what we're gonna do. But what do you see going forward? What goals do you guys have for 2023?
Um, I think for our team specifically, it's just maintaining that level of consistency. As everyone knows, the end of the year requires a whole lot of time and commitment. I think we're all looking forward to just a little bit of a breath of fresh air with the new year that invites new challenges, and I'm just excited to see the same level of consistency. High level, but just a very static level of consistency throughout the entire year. So.
And that doesn't just take one aspect. You're talking about consistency and safety. Obviously,
Mhm.
it's a core value. We're never going to let go of that. But as I go around the country, I also see the commitment to quality that the wireless industry has now begun to focus on, that's bigger and more prevalent. And frankly, if you build it once right and you don't have to build it twice, it's less expensive to pay a little more the first time and get it done well. And I am just so proud of our companies and our industry for figuring out that, hey, it's just not the lowest dollar that wins. It's actually the person who does it well, because these networks are really important. And 80% of all 911 calls now happen on a mobile device. So what we're doing is really important, isn't it, Nolan?
Oh,
Absolutely, absolutely. I like to think of looking forward into the next year is not necessarily starting over, setting the clock back and starting the year fresh. I like to think about it as compounding the success that we had from the previous year, and building on the successes that we had using that experience and all the time spent on all these sites, and to just build on the last year rather than thinking about it as starting completely over and fresh. I think, and then that's a personal view, but I like to think that it works.
That's an important point because when I look at the experience that we all get, that's like paying tuition, right? And when you pay that tuition, you've already learned it. And now you get to apply it again and again because you don't necessarily have to learn it again unless it's a really soft lesson. But the hard lessons that you learn, you often don't make that mistake twice, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we paid that tuition. Now we get to look ahead with optimism. And hopefully it's on a personal level, it's on a family level, it's on a company level, it's on an industry level. So, what encouragement do you have, Cole, for those folks in 2023? Well, I almost said 2022. In 2023, how would you encourage them to be safe?
Um, think before you do anything. If you see something, you got to say something. It could be someone on their first day of the job. It could be someone who's been doing this for 15 years. Everyone's allowed to stop work if they don't see something, or if they see something that's unsafe. I mean, uh, through repetition, you gain good quality work that continues to build and grow, like Nolan said. But when it comes to safety, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And a lot of times complacency might come with that at the same time. So
Yeah.
some of the more veteran guys need to maybe check themselves a little bit sometimes, make sure that they're not just getting too comfortable when they're up on a tower or on a rooftop by a leading edge, something along those lines. But just practice and repetition. Ask
Yeah.
questions. You can never ask too many questions when it comes to safety.
I heard it said from a really, really good coach. He said, practice doesn't make perfect. Because if you're practicing it wrong, you're just perfecting the way to do it wrong. But perfect practice makes perfect. And you guys who are veterans in our industry need to make sure that you're sharing the perfect way to do it so that repetition is beneficial to all the new folks coming in. So Nolan, looking ahead, 2023, how are you going to encourage us to be safe out there?
Well, the best advice I would say is, we are outreached at this point. Our network is massive. Lean on each other. I mean,
Yeah.
the resources at everyone's fingertips, from the brand new guy on site to the most veteran guy at the shop, has never been larger. I mean, I guarantee you I could get on the phone and find Cole's phone number and call him for something that I might need, that he might have.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, leaning on each other right now seems like as easy as it's ever been. And,
Yeah.
that seems like good advice.
Yeah. And, one of the things that really comes into play there is that a year ago, when we kind of relaunched the Ontivity name, we said we're better together. And that really comes into play when we're leaning on one another, checking each other's six. And so I really appreciate you saying that, man. That's really important. So, on behalf of our whole wireless industry, we want to say Happy New Year to all those folks. So, Cole, wish everybody Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
All right. Nolan, wish everybody Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year, family. Let's stay safe.
All right. Let's do that. And even when we're dipping turkeys in grease or smoking prime rib or tri-tip or whatever you're doing, even if you're making lasagna, there's an opportunity to do it well. And that means that we all choose safety today. Happy New Year. This is Jim, and I am out.